He has his green card, but
No, they messed with me and him. They messed with me what, last week's ago. So, no, I'm sorry. What happened? Yeah, I'm sorry, it was last week. I'm sorry, it was last week. They messed with me and him. It is what it is.
yeah, after this 120 days is done, but the thing is, I be like, the case is like a flaw. If you don't say something, that's what I mean. Yeah, you can be doing all this. We take them jobs. We take all the This is the Thommy Davis Show on Power 410. We sound so much better in stereo. I put it on. I put it on Facebook. Yeah, that was last week. But,
that link lasts forever.
Okay.
So just let them know if you got an Android, you want to listen in, hit that link, and that's only temporary until we do this finish up.
We are live on the air.
Got you. Hey, Tommy, that mix list. Woo.
The last was Maurice.
Really? Woo! I'm just saying.
You said live.
That was all you, buddy.
No, not the mix. Not the mix. I just Googled stuff and it came up. Maurice Eclectic.
Oh,
it was on my drive.
Okay. That's his story.
You can look at it. You go over here and look at the screen.
I'm just saying, it was kind of rocking. Don't put me on the
wait.
Don't put me on. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't.
We ain't do nothing.
Yeah.
We just started.
All right. So what I'm going to do is, bam, turn your mic off. Hey, this is the Thommy Davis Show with your co-host, Tracy Stevens. How was your week? Actually, how was your day today?
Woo!
I'm
not right in my headphones. Right? You got. I'm yelling in this mic. Yeah.
I hear you.
Yeah, you be trying to turn me down.
No.
You're already shady. We just started.
Well, now you're in the red.
That's because you made me start yelling.
Oh, no. Well, last time, you were regular talking. You were in the orange like me. Now.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you.
Yeah. Now I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Last weekend I went to Biscuit's first party out Ricestown.
Oh, Loyalty Lounge?
No, way past Main Street.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was, it's a nice spot,
Oh, that's a great thing.
Way right behind Planet Fitness, way out there, Main Street.
Oh, you got me. I don't go that far. They don't like people like
I
me
live
out
out
there.
So
They don't like people like me out there. I'm joking.
Otherwise, we had something, unfortunately, if you listen to the show, it will not have Scotty B today. He got called into work.
Yeah, but no worries. He is rescheduling, and Scotty will be here.
Yeah. So, to be honest, that was Mr. V and Maurice.
Oh, nice.
It was broken down mix, so I was just running it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I do my beats. That's what he talking about.
Oh, okay. You traumatized it.
But wait a minute, before we got to introduce.
We got to introduce you.
So,
right now, in the scene, on the set, and all the other type stuff, we have, drum roll please.
My man with a plan. My man with a plan.
No drum roll.
All right, Mike. Reese, you gotta have it.
Yeah,
It's directional
I can't
like
hear you.
this.
Yeah.
No, yeah, just lift it up.
Lift it up towards
There
you.
you go.
Yeah.
You should be perfect.
Is that what it is?
Yep,
Yeah,
we can hear you now.
You got the good old sparse compression.
Yeah, see, you know he know all of that. That's why y'all gonna get a treat. Y'all gonna get a treat.
Yeah, pretty much. So, welcome to the Thommy Davis Show.
Welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you.
I might have to put you on camera just a little
All right,
bit.
every time you touch that, it's gonna do that noise.
Yeah, it's going to do that noise. So
Trust
you might.
me, I know. I see it though. I see
You
it.
might want to move it
It's
by
very
the top.
familiar because I've got the same setup at home.
Do you?
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So when I saw it, I was like, oh man, wow, okay, I should be good.
You're gonna have some
so,
fun.
Look, so y'all don't know this guy. He's been around for a minute, so I had a chance to do stuff with him, as you know, on early pointers before he became this large giant that is before us right now.
Ooh.
So his journey to
Your
becoming this
flowers.
giant
Mhm.
is going to be an awesome story because I call him now. No, what are you doing?
Oh,
I
because
don't
you're
wanna see
talking
me.
and he's not talking.
Yeah, he will be in a second.
Okay, let me put this on
That's for our
because
Facebook people. Reese.
yeah, that's for our Facebook people. But
So,
yeah,
without any
okay.
further ado, producer, distributor, record label owner, international, Mr. Eclectic. You know,
Pleasure. Distribution company is the big one now.
yeah.
Okay.
That's the big one now. So that's our baby. But Pasqua Records is the label. Pasqua Records South Africa. Pasqua Records International.
You know what I'm saying?
And our new baby, Total Indie, which is our new distribution company. And when I say distribution, full distribution, similar to your familiars out there now. We won't say the names, so I'll just say this one is.
You can say the name. This is the Thommy Davis Show. You say the name. Go ahead and say the name.
So similar to your
Wait a minute,
MN2
what
sugars, similar to your MN2 sugars, similar to your label works. We are a full distribution company, but with a twist, and we can get into that later. But it's with a twist. We're about the artist, but we're also about truth and exposure. So we'll talk about that later.
So, I mean, a lot, I know, but I know some of your story, but so where'd you start? You know, because really the whole show, the theory of the show is that somebody's out there and you could encourage them by telling your stories, both pitfalls and successes.
Yeah. There's a lot of pitfalls, more pitfalls than successes.
It's always like that.
And it's still pitfalls now to today, but
Let's say learning lessons.
Yeah, I say, as we say in project managers, lessons learned.
Right.
Right.
So,
right. That's
You
how I
can't keep
am.
touching that mic.
you say lessons learned. So, but yeah, a heck of a journey. But
So where'd you start? Where'd you start?
It was enjoyable. Where did I start? To be honest with you, I started in a good friend of mine's living room, Mike O'Tay, and he introduced me to production, not DJing, production. And I'm going to talk about the DJing aspect because
That's important.
It is important.
Yeah.
It's very important from a DJing perspective. I did something I wasn't supposed to do, but I did it anyway. My parents used to have these 3-day New Year's Eve parties. I lied to you now.
Mm-hmm.
3 days.
3 days.
That sounds cool. That
3
sounds like
days.
a great party.
If you lived in the Graydon Avenue, Flannery Lane in the early 80s, I apologize. That was my parents. So 3 days they would have these parties, and my cousin Tony had these turntables downstairs.
What kind? Tell.
Techniques, 1200.
They had 1200s. Okay, all right.
So he had them in the basement, and I had no idea. And I take that back. They were Gemini.
Gemini.
They were Gemini.
Okay.
I take that back. They were Gemini.
Okay. My brother had a set of
They weren't
those.
techniques. They were Gemini. So
Belts?
belts.
Yeah, okay, all right.
So, and he had this long 16-inch mixer.
It's a Newmont?
It wasn't a Newmont. It was realistic.
Oh.
I'm dating myself.
Radio Shack.
Okay.
Radio Shack.
There it is.
Got
is.
you.
So,
Got you.
That is. So, and it was crazy because that was right around the time that I actually first moved to this country.
Okay.
So it was.
Whoa, wait.
Where
are you from?
So, it's crazy. My journey here is wild.
So I didn't beg her far enough then.
Yeah, you started with the music. You didn't ask.
Wait a minute, you have a green card and everything, right? So you don't want ICE coming to the door or nothing, right?
Oh, shoot, ICE might come in here and snatch one of us.
They can come in here if they want.
I was like, Maurice will be sitting right there, and they'll take one of us.
Which one you want? Which passport you want?
Oh, you buy country. Okay,
So
cool.
it's born in London.
I forgot.
In Ipswich, London. Shouts out to all my London fam because they're still there. It's proper. My family is Guyanese. My father is from Maryland. My mother's side is from Guyana, which is the side that I mostly attract to. But my father's side is from here, Baltimore.
Okay.
So that's how I wound up here. Traveled around the United States and the world because of the Air Force and my father being in the Air Force. So had the opportunity to live in a few places. Yeah. Fast forward, all that good stuff. Had the opportunity to move to Naples, Italy, and live in Naples, Italy.
Wow.
So I lived in Naples, Italy for 3.5 years.
Wow.
That's where I was introduced to house music in Italy.
Okay.
And at that time, it was disco transitioning
Right.
into house.
Right.
So, and I'll never forget it because it was my first 2 records I ever blended. my mother's husband at the time had 2 turntables and a mixer. And it was 2 songs that I tried for 2 months to blend. And when I finally got them to blend, that was it.
Oh, wow.
I got bit by the bug in 2 songs that I'll never forget because
Here you go.
Pull Up to My Bumper, Grace Jones,
Yeah.
and Sade, Tattoo.
Oh, nice.
Really?
And that
Nice.
was
That's
vinyl.
not an easy blend.
And that's,
No.
by the way, that's vinyl.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Right.
That was vinyl. So
Wow.
the trick to it, though, was that particular album, if you remember, it was a promo. I'm sorry, it was an international. It was 2 sides. It was an A side and it was a B side. And on the B side, there was a house track on the B side of that Tattoo release. And you remember it because it's gonna blow your mind because it was one of Naked Music's first releases.
Really?
So that's how crazy it was. So, but long story short,
What was the name of the first
it
release?
was it was a Tattoo that was one of it was on Naked Music's label.
Okay,
But
all right.
It was Sade's remix and Blue, what's his name? He did the remix. It was
Wow.
one of his firsts. So like
Buddha
I said,
Stephen?
we dating ourselves.
Wow.
This is crazy. Man. This is crazy. So, but long story short, we wound up moving from there and moving back to the States. Wound up being stationed out in Frederick, Maryland.
Keep going.
And while I was there, that's where I picked up some more of my DJ skills, along with basketball skills, and schooling, and the rest of that good stuff.
This explains a lot about your music.
So, and this is full disclosure. So it's only a few other people that know the story. Jermaine,
Right.
he knows the story. Keith Cronkite knows the story. My business partner Pierre Reynolds, he knows the story. A lot of people don't because, as you know, I'm a private person. I keep to myself. So I just stay in the lab all day like a lab rat, just making music and figuring out new systems to use and new ways to use them.
Well, but they don't. I remember now. I mean, how far is that from Haunted House?
So what happened was years went by, and life started lifing, and we started drifting away from being producing, because that wasn't even on my forefront. It was just DJing at that time. From then all the way up until about 2012.
Okay, all right.
2012. And Jermaine, he had Logic on all those 25 discs that you had to install on a computer. You remember that?
Yeah.
So he was like, "Hey man, if you got a computer, I've got the application. Go ahead and install it. Let's see what happens." That was 2012. Fast forward to 2014, 15. Good old Machine came out. Machine came out. Logic had did some changes and upgrades, and it was no longer the 16 disc. It was downloadable by the App Store.
Yeah.
You know, it changed, and Apple was doing all these crazy things with the iMacs. Now, like, wait a minute, this is becoming a little bit more simplistic now. I don't have to run to somebody's studio, SL1200, and all that other. I didn't have to do that. So I already have a tech background, so you put a piece of software in front of me in a computer, it's a wrap. So for me, I just drew to it because it was something that I was already attached to. It was the technology. It was a mouse and a keyboard. That's something I did every day. So it was easy for me to transition. And
so tech is not besides music. That's your background in.
Yeah, my background is in tech.
Okay.
My background is in tech.
Okay.
So I currently work for a company that I run as a director in cyberspace. So but that's my background. That I love a mouse and a keyboard. So once that became that, and I started learning Machine, I started learning Logic, and then Charisma turned me on to Ableton and how to use Ableton inside, or I should say Machine inside of Ableton as a plugin. Once I realized that and learned that, I started talking with Jermaine again, and we developed a production company and production group called Eclectic. And we, as most basement producers, we're just creating beats at that point. We're just beat makers. We're not really music understanders of theory and structure and things of that nature.
That was a dope album.
But it was, but also understand, as dope as that album was, it was our first. It was our first full production album, not our full first production as producers, but man, we were still, let's just be honest about it, we were still kind of green compared to everybody, our peers that were around us.
Right.
And then at that particular time, we were under Quantize.
Right.
And we were doing our best to learn as much as we possibly could under You and Spin. But we also recognized that You and Spin were also engines. You also had your own lives and your own work and your own production and your own, life. And that's how we say now. So being able to tap into those nuggets the way we wanted to from two individuals that are learning sponges, and this is a truth. It's never been talked about before, so we'll talk about it now, and I'm sure you won't have a problem with it. We struggled because we were learning engines. We wanted to know not just about the music. We were business people also.
Oh my God. For those out there, these guys were called with hundreds of questions and questions. Well, that shouldn't go like that. We done our research.
So we were, you're talking with two business-minded people. It wasn't just about the music. For me, it's always the music. Music is supposed to be the therapy, at least the spiritual aspect of what we do. It gets ugly sometimes when you get on the business side. It gets nasty.
Yeah.
And then you have these crazy expectations, and let's just be honest. When you first get into this, you think your first track, you're supposed to pull down a couple of digits. It would be 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 digits, and you also expect the label to pay you what you think. This is key. What you think you're worth.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Now we got to be honest of this as label owners, as producers, as artists, as whatever. We all have a feeling about what we think is it's worth.
Tommy and I were talking about that the other day, where I think that the artist should get paid.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever it is, the artist should get paid. And, whatever that worth is, but I say that because so many people that are artists, there's, you're a struggling artist. No, you're only struggling because you want to. The artist should be paid. You should know your worth. You should know, what you bring to the table. If you may think your worth is $1 million, but once you do the research and things, so that's what behind it, you see what your true worth is. But at the same time, you have to work at your true worth until you get to that $1 million mark.
And that relies on the label being forthcoming.
Right.
Okay, that relies on the label of having that open exposure
Mm-hmm.
to being vulnerable first and foremost to
Right.
the artists and to everyone else. And see, not to jump subjects real quick, but that's what we're doing at Total Indie.
Okay.
So we're actually allowing the artists direct access to their reporting, not waiting for the executive, the accounting at the label to run the report and tell you what you got. No, you're going to see it real time. Just like we see it when we run into all the other distribution companies and run the report to see what we've done in a quarter, 7 days, 14 days, 30, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, as label owners, we do it. We run that report to see exactly what we're supposed to off of each artist,
Right.
total, who's marketing the best, who's pushing, whose feedback draw the most. And what people don't realize is even off of that feedback, as label owners, we're trying to figure out what the remix is going to be off of that single or EP that was released based off the sales.
Yeah.
But that requires marketing.
Right.
Notice what I just said. We're figuring out what the remix is going to be off of that single or EP that you released. So that's going to cost. So now, as the artist, let's share the responsibility in your future, in your direction. So, hey, log into your portal, run your report, set up a meeting time, let's talk about it.
So if you kind of lost and you're not into the business, or you're listening, he's telling you some true stuff. But originally, a label might get a report every month or 3 months or 6 months, and that's when we would send it out to the artists, and they had 1,000 questions about what is this, what is that, what is it. What is that? What is
What's
that?
this barcode thing over here? What is this $10 barcode, $25?
Yeah.
Barcodes cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But you got to understand, it was those kind of questions.
Yes.
Because watch this, that is not a consistent thing across every distributor.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you see different scenarios from and you don't know, you're asking questions. And then when you don't know, your mind starts to say things that aren't either true or you just don't have the knowledge.
Yeah, because when I was in Macy's, I had to pay for my barcodes. So I owned the ones in there, but the barcodes, I think I had 4 products. It was $2,500 for
They
4
got you.
products.
They got you. I'll tell you why, because a barcode is free.
Oh no, it was Macy's brand barcode. So
Barcode is free.
Well,
and then when you that's not even
depending
get into it if we talk about mechanical with that barcode, because that's a whole nother animal.
Well, when I was in Macy's, it cost $2,500 because I paid for this. Well, for the barcode in itself, I paid for the barcode. Then I paid for them promoting it because I can't promote. And it was in California, so I'm like, I'm not going to ride back and forth to California, So that was, and it was closing. You know what I'm saying? So I get it.
I'm gonna take this minute, Tracy. Get the number out. Would you have the number?
Yeah. I have the number.
Because you can call into the show if you got questions for the legendary
Mr. Eclectic.
genius, smart tech guy from Ghana, England.
Ain't nobody.
It's Guyana. Right, he corrected me. You know what I mean?
And then for those that don't know what's going on in Guyana right now, we found a lot of oil.
Wow.
And there's a lot of riches going on down there right now. There's a lot of fighting going on right there.
About that oil.
Just between Venezuela and Guyana. So
Yeah, because Venezuela is a oil haven right there.
But always remember, Venezuela at one time was a part of Venezuela.
Oh.
So that's what they're trying to claim back.
Yeah, throwing history down in this joint.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to talk about where you're from, know where you're from.
Yeah, that's the same thing with Ukraine, pretty much. That's why they want a certain portion of Ukraine because, well, I'm not going to say that because I said I was going to stay off.
We ain't going to talk about politics.
That subject.
She can't help it. She can't help it.
Because I will go down. I will bark. Anyway, if you would like to call the show, if you have any questions, you can either call 410-591-6124. Again, that's 410-591-6124. Or just post your question on Facebook. We're looking. All right, so
wait a minute. In the room, you got Kevin Anthony. You got you got a whole bunch of people in the room, dude. You got people in here who want to know.
I have to give a shout out to Ali Green. She's actually going on a cruise, and she wanted me to give her a shout out. So she called me. Hey, Ali. Whoop, whoop. All right.
So wait a minute. Let's do this. We don't have to do this correctly. I'm gonna shout out some names.
Okay. Oh. I got a fun fact.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait. I ain't got these glasses are not real.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I kind of stepped away from the mic. Let me go back.
And just for everybody, my brother, my fellow Aquarian is in the building.
Oh, y'all Aquarians, that means y'all shady. I'm just saying, just shade. Anyway, hey, Jeffrey C.
Jeffrey in there.
Monique Watson.
It's a funny story before you go any further right there. It's a funny story.
I got one funny with Jeffrey.
With Jeffrey C. so we'll talk in the early 90s. Mid-90s, late 90s. When I first met Jeffrey C. He used to work at 92Q for that hole, right? He and one of my best friends at the time, still my best friend, just isn't anymore, he's still my best friend, Kush. They worked together down there. And I remember linking up with Jeffrey C. and we became very close. He actually worked on the track, an R&B track with one of my good friends, Marche. Shout out to Marche. And we became thick as thieves. And I remember telling him in the basement of his house, I said, Jeff, just keep watching. I promise you on everything. I'm going to create a label. I'm going to create a distribution company. And I'm not going to disappoint you. And I told him that in his basement. And I remember right after I told him that, he said, you know what? Since you said that, and you can ask him this. He said, since you said that, all these albums that I'm getting from 92Q, I got doubles of, just come get them for free. He'll confirm that story. So all those albums I had, and everybody that's ever been to my condo and you live downtown, if you've been there and you saw that back wall, I would say almost 80% of that wall, those records, came from there.
Wow. We got some more people in the room.
Okay.
You covered all of them? Just a few.
Okay, so Devon, hey, what's going on? Monique, DJ Royce, hey, Mark. What's going on, Melvin? Thank you for tuning in. My cousin Lisa Lee, hey. Kevin Anthony.
Any questions in there?
No, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. All right,
listen, we got somebody looking all the way from Bermuda. Hey, Kevin.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Reggie. Hey, Ty. What's going on? Wait a minute, hold up. We got John Johnson. He wanted to let us know that he has a party going on early. Yeah. Yep. Whoop, whoop. Party, y'all know where it is.
John, send us the information, man. We promote all parties, all house parties. We got one. We don't think we level the field.
Daryl Lewis, DJ Mark Moultrie. Hey, what's going on?
What's going on, Mark?
Yeah. So we got a packed house right here.
So we had our little time as Eclectic as a group on Quantize. And as I said, we learned a lot. It was again lessons learned. You know, when you're new into something and you really are not aware of everything that goes on. And you know, we had help. You know, to understand ins and outs and trying to make the best decisions that were for ourselves. It had nothing to do with anything else. Because at the end of the day, before I let any business interfere with friendships and things like that, I let the business go. I'm not doing that. So we decided to say, hey, why don't we open up our own label as Eclectic Music,
Mm-hmm.
and let's learn the ins and outs as a label. And that's what we did. We had help. Shouts out to Doug Gomez. He helped us with understanding how to get over the Label Works.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been with Label Works now since 2017, I believe. 2018 was the first release. So 2017 is when I got with Label Works. And I just started releasing music. But in that period, something happened. The geek in me, as Thommy would say, started coming out. And Ike would say, well, you're a nerd for real. So I started really diving into frequencies, like shaping sounds and understanding how these instruments and these sounds that were coming out of this machine that we kept pounding on, and this logic and keyboard and the MIDI. Like, well, wait, it makes the sound with the instrument, but how do I make it sound better? Like, how do I? Because when you, like, prime example, as producers, you open up a preset that's in Logic or something like that. It's got all of its natural plugins that's on there that they suggest, quote unquote,
Right.
they suggest to use.
Right.
With all these sends and receives. Like, don't get me started there either. And then you might listen to it and it's like, don't get me wrong, stock sounds sound good. But you're like, but it's not quality. It just sounds robotic. It sounds like it's a preset. It sounds like it just, somebody just pulled it off of the shelf and off J.C. Penney's shelf and said, put it on, see if it fit.
But you took it to another step.
I took it to another step. I started asking the question, just like we started asking you guys question, well, how does it do that? Well, why does it do that? And what makes it do that? So I remember being in the studio with you and Spin and Dana Weaver.
Okay.
And Eclectic had a release with Dana Weaver. And the song was called, what was it, Met You Yet?
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm sitting in the studio, you all, kudos to him. We all have our products and DAWs that we use, that we master. You can sit there and look at that DAW and you can have total surgery in there and move like nothing's affecting you. What you didn't realize was I was sitting behind Spin. And the geek in me literally watched him with that mouse and that keyboard, because I can relate to that and that screen. And I watched him manipulate things as vocals.
Uh-huh. That's his thing.
And then I watched him arrange the vocals, which at that time was one of my weaknesses. I couldn't arrange vocals the right way. And I didn't know how to really mix vocals the right way. I knew how to play around with it, but I didn't know how to do it the right way, which is why you all mixed and mastered a lot of early Eclectic.
Not much. Y'all was on point.
Well, no, it wasn't until, now being honest here, it wasn't until
Metamorphosis.
Right. It wasn't until Metamorphosis, and it wasn't until Metamorphosis.
Big shout out to Keith Crumity.
Big shout out to Keith Crumity. It wasn't until Metamorphosis, because in between the last track in Metamorphosis, I had went to wave school.
Yeah, I'm taking you to this part because it's important for the people out there to know that you just didn't sit and just say I'm supposed to figure it out, or why I'm not born with this information. You got to go out and find out what you need.
What people don't realize is I've gotten to a point in my life where it just has to make sense to me. So let's make it make sense real quick. All right.
Okay.
You're in school from age whatever till age whatever.
Right.
And in between that time, hopefully and prayerfully, you learn pre-K to 12, or whatever, K to 12, whatever. You learned a whole lot in that time frame, right? And if you have the opportunity after those 12 years to extend it 4 more years, you learn a lot more, right?
Yeah.
But you got to put that work in, right? So it doesn't stop. So if you want to learn something, you better go learn it. And YouTube is not always going to teach you that.
Yeah, actually, you should learn something almost every day.
TikTok is not going to teach you that.
Yeah.
No.
It's not. Now you can have a fascination for it, but if you don't sit down and really understand what these frequencies mean, prime example, the gentleman sitting next to my right calls me on a regular basis. Ike does. And he's like, Mo, take a listen to this. What am I not hearing? What am I not seeing? What am I not? Cause I hear something, but I just don't know what it is. Me being me, oh, I hear it. It's your 165 hertz or 265 hertz. And he's like, what? I said, yeah, let me show you in the EQ where it is. So I'll show him, and I said, well, really, it's either this or it's a sound, and you're clashing. So this is when I got to talking to him about side chaining and understanding what side chaining between different instruments and vocals mean. It's just not, side chain, kick and bass. There's a lot more to it than just that. So creating those buses and understanding how to manipulate and use that pump when it's supposed to and when not to.
Right.
And understanding what a 2-in-1 compression is to a 3-in-3 compression is. Because it's different things for different sounds. But that's also understanding frequency. So that's why I went to wave school. And
this is real important. I want people, because there's people out here listening, and they need to understand what you did. Just like in school, you have to go to school to the 12th grade. Anything after that, you decide.
Yeah. You decide what
right.
you're going to do. So how much further you want to go. So I'm a learning machine. If you know me, you know I've got a whole bunch of certifications after my name. It's for a reason. I like to keep learning. So I realized after I learned Waves and pretty much the majority of their plugins and what they do, and let's be honest, Waves has a lot of plugins. You won't use maybe a quarter of them.
Nope.
Unless you're doing live broadcasting, like this, and then, live shows, you may, but really, you got about a good 10, 12 plugins that you might use from Waves. But when we get into other options within Waves, like engineering movies, sound, scoring, things of that, and then now you're talking something different. And they
are no plugins too.
Waves,
right.
Now that's a different animal, and there's a different ear and a different way of engineering, and which is what I'm getting into now also. So it's just a different way of understanding frequencies and sounds. But it's also understanding the artist. Because you as a producer, you have a certain sound. So how can I mimic what you really want without being in the studio with you? And it's by me listening to your mix. Sometimes I can get a good mix and it's like, hey, I don't need to do a thing. I just master this bad boy and we're off to the horses running. But then there's times where I have to really dive into a whole track and engineer it from top to bottom, mix it, master it, mix it, master it,
and mix it well.
Master it, and mix it, master it.
Listen, I want y'all to really understand this guy went, and what he's talking about, he's real humble about it. He went and built this label and started topping all the charts with his own sound, with his own thing. And I was like, wow. And we would talk. I would call you, call me, and all of a sudden he educated me. He's like, yo, Tony, you know about this? Like right here.
And it's funny he's talking about that, and we're going to get to that because that's a great segue too, because what wound up happening after I went to Wave School and understood the tools of Waves along with your Logic or stock plugins and how you can combine them and use them together. It was one thing to have the mix.
Go ahead, tell them.
But who will master it?
I remember you was going through that.
Yeah.
He was like, I want to do my own master.
Yeah, I remember telling you guys. And I remember when you heard the master when it came back that last time. And you heard it. And I remember you calling me and you was like, Reese, did you master this? I said, yeah. And he said, whoa, okay. Well, we don't have to do anything.
Right.
How do you want me to put the credits? I was like, okay, just put the credits this way, and this was it. So that's when you gave me that initial head nod, that's when I knew I was kind of onto something. Now, at that time, I was mastering with waves also,
Mm.
and I was mixing, and then I was mastering with waves. But I don't do that anymore, and I realized that every plugin has its purpose, but every purpose for that plugin is not the same. So I wound up learning about some other mastering tools. One was Lucy. Another one which really drew me was one that was recommended from Waves, and this was Isotope.
A lot of people like Isotope.
So, but see, a lot of people use.
It's user friendly.
I'll say this. I'm being nice, and there's no disrespect to any of the producers or anybody else out there. A lot of them use that AI tool in Isotope.
Yeah, I don't like it that
much. See, and I can always tell when they do it, because any good engineer and any good mastering engineer is going to tell you every mixer and producer has the same frequency issue. I don't care who you talk to. Unless you talk to a true pro at what they're doing. They all have the same problem with the same frequency.
Well, let me ask you this. We're doing dance music. So those master things are not for house music.
Not true.
All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Elaborate.
Not true. So a plug-in is a plug-in. Just like Logic is Logic, Ableton is Ableton, Machine is Machine. So you telling me you can only make house music on Logic?
No, I'm not saying
watch the theory.
Mm-hmm.
So that doesn't mean that you can't use that plug-in for anything. I'll tell you a trick, and I showed Ike, and he's going to laugh because I actually told him about this. I showed him how to use a plug-in that was literally for hi-hats and cymbals. I showed him how to use it on a kick and how to get the high end of the kick out.
Which is hard to do.
Right. And he was like, I would have never thought. Exactly. So the point that I'm trying to make is don't limit a tool just to that because you say it's not good for that. No, it's good for anything. It's about the person on the other end.
See, you a geek, though.
but see, it's about the person on the other end. And but I've heard you say this, so you kind of got to, unfortunately, kick yourself a little bit here. You've told many people this. Master the tool that you have before you go jump to another one.
Yeah.
So if you master that tool, you learn that, wait, this is for anything, but how am I understanding the frequencies? And now how do I apply that with the tool that I'm using? And you may find out that the tool may not be the tool. You may have to go find another tool. So I learned that utilizing Isotope in a different way than just mastering, because I do use it for mastering, but I don't use it for the AI tool. I use it in combination with Waves.
Okay.
Because what most people don't know is Isotope and Waves, you can literally take some of your presets from Waves and put them into your Isotope, and they work. They actually bring up the preset plugins for Isotope.
There's engineers out there. So wait a minute. Let's bring it back to. I mean, we can keep coming back to this. Mm-hmm. Where was your global perspective with music when you started going into it? And you can take it any way you want. There's a lot of ways to go with this. But
great question, by the way.
So go ahead. So where was your global perspective? Your whole idea was like, well, the world is the world, and you find this out in music real fast.
How can I say this? My perspective on music in general, and if we want to stick to the scene, then the house scene. Music, for me, my roots drive my music.
Okay.
My roots are my Guyanese background, my Caribbean background, and my British side, okay? But you take all of that and then you introduce Baltimore to that. And Baltimore loves its drums.
Yeah, they do.
So let's keep it all the way 100. Baltimore loves its drums. I just told you the two other influences that I had. Caribbean, percussions, and drums.
Yeah.
You feel me? So now we're talking melodies when we're talking about UK. We talking about melodies. We talking about bass lines when we talking about UK. So did I not just travel around and give you every piece of the music? So I take that and that's my inspiration. So when I think about what global, from a perspective of global, where do I want Pasqua? How do I want Pasqua to be perceived? It was from a global level that didn't just speak to one genre of people. It spoke to everybody. And it's no big secret, yes, I love my South African music. I love my South Africans. I love everything that they represent. I love Africa from the rooter to the tutor. It's no big secret, right?
No, no, it's not.
But you then have my Pasqua side. My Pasqua side represents that international. It represents that UK, that London sound. It represents that disco sound. It represents that deep house sound. But I didn't want to cut myself to say, oh, I just want to do this one specific sound and stick to this one genre, because then I wouldn't be speaking to me, because I'm not just one. I am
a lot.
So
still to this day, we come to you and say, Maurice, can you do a remix of this?
and they do, and
right.
they do. And for me now, it's at a point where, let's just make it work. It doesn't matter to me. It's just, how do we share this experience together and have a great time? Period.
Okay, let's talk barriers. Because, I mean, this show is about to prepare people and give them motivation to go out and do that. We don't want to paint it that it was that simple.
It's not. It's not that simple. Nowhere, shape, or form. Not that simple. Barriers? I mean, barriers come with egos.
You better go ahead.
So you wanna say barriers in this sound, this underground sound, right?
Okay, all right.
So let's keep it real. In this underground sound, barriers. Of course, no one wants to be abused and used, right? So set those boundaries early. Know what's fair and what's not fair. I'll just be honest with you. What's fair is, here's the truth. The work that we put in for this music that you hear and that you dance on the floor to, the stuff that you hear from all these other record labels from a big level, you think it's not happening down here. It is.
Yeah.
And you know, that's the ugly side. You gotta be prepared to whose hand and how many hands are in the pot before you see what you expect.
Yeah.
In your mind, think you're supposed to see. Okay? That's just, for those that don't think that the ugly side of what you hear with like Drake and all of that and Spotify and the stream. Oh, you think it's bad for Spotify and the streamers for the hip hop labels and everything else? Come on, stop. Let's imagine indies.
Right.
Stop. But imagine that, and then imagine you having people with expectations, and rightfully so, because it's their intellectual property. It's what they put their hard work in, so they expect a serious return. And let's just be honest, with small indie labels like us, we're not giving you a big budget. We're not giving you hundreds of thousands of dollars to go on a big tour either. I'm sorry, it's not for that.
Right.
What it's for is this. Most of the people that you see that are successful in this are creating music to get gigs.
That's the real talk. That's where we're at now.
Those gigs provide the money that you see. So let's flip that around and keep it into reality for the hip hop heads that might be watching. You think those artists make money off their music? No, they make money off their touring. So flip that into the DJ scene. We produce music so that we can make music to go on tour. Our tour is DJing all of the places that we get booked for. It's the same. It is the exact same concept. So when Alicia Keys had their little post going around that said, what actually do DJs do? I know you taking that music and going back to your set or whatever, your DAW, and doing everything else. No, some of us do just exactly what you just did. You did that little beat mix on the fly.
Right.
So it's work. It's hard work. But with all that work, the reward is us getting gigs, us getting booked for festivals, us creating our own venues to do our own thing and showcase our own music. And hopefully getting rewarded that way. That's the struggle.
Let's do a pause right there for a minute. You're listening to Power 410 Radio, And you're listening to the Thommy Davis Show from 7:30 to 9:30. What he just said was what we were talking about last week. Remember with Maurice and Lord Day, where Maurice brought up the thing where he said a lot of the people that sing on your songs want you to get them gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's, this is a promotional tool for you guys as it's a promotional tool to the people that sing. You literally have to put work into it.
Well, he talked about the same thing.
Yeah,
It's like
that's what I'm saying.
The duties of a label. People come in and don't understand the hierarchy of business. Right. It's like,
But trust me, there's reward. Mm-hmm. There is reward. I mean, we can sit up here and talk about the bad all day, but to be honest with you, I'll tell you what the reward is for me. You know how many people I've met through this label?
Yes, because you've been heard everywhere.
I would have never met before.
Right.
Let's speak on the impact of those that are spreading the love of music, whether it be here or abroad. I think, one of the biggest artists on my label that now, only because we're as close as we are, can I get his attention now to do anything for me. But I had one of the biggest artists on my label who's now worldwide, now working with Black Coffee, like working with Shimza, Artwork Sounds. Mm-hmm. And if you guys remember when Artwork Sounds dropped that EP, it took the entire summer, and the entire summer was in a chokehold. Mm-hmm. Entire summer was in a chokehold, right? Right. But it was because of that network with them that brought me all the other artists that are coming through the label. And I remember having a conversation with Thommy, and Thommy just called me out the blue, and this is just what he said. The conversation went just like this. You found your sound. Don't change it. Don't make no excuses. Don't do nothing. Just stay where you are. So I said, okay, it's fine. So that's what I've been doing. Now I've kind of pivoted, and I've taken it to another level. The knowledge that I've learned over the years, good, bad, and indifferent, I want to change the way we see music. I want to change the way artists view music. I want to help the artists see their worth. So when they talk about, oh no, I'm worth this song's playing 15,000 times over here, don't tell me this, I should have $15,000 per play, yada yada, and whoop de whoop. Okay, go log into your portal and go tell me how much money you got. So we can just sit back now. We don't have to get into no argument and get into no discussion.
But the thing is, a lot of people don't realize is that you're renting your music now. You don't own anything. You're actually making money off the things that people own. When you stream, you're renting your music. And, it's just like buying a house and renting an apartment or, buying a condo. You're going to constantly put money into that condo or the condo you own. You're going to continue to put money into your apartment regardless of what happens, and you will never own it.
So what's funny is, and to piggyback off of what she just said, at Total Indie, we're going to make it optional to have your music on Spotify. You got to check that button. All the others, you're going.
And that's what people don't realize that they're renting their music.
And
no, he's talking about when he make those artists. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Spotify's renting Spotify.
No, he's talking about what he does. He's talking about what he does.
Listen, to your point, in regards to us renting our music, especially to people that don't want to reward. It's like everybody this year. And I'm going to say it because I was guilty of it the years prior to. I was posting my Spotify, ooh, look at what I did for the numbers, yada, yada, whoop, de whoop. And then I go back through the books.
You better talk about it.
And I'm like, why would I promote a brand that's not paying me, right? Now, when I say not paying, notice I didn't say pay me what I work, just paying me, period, right? Period, right? Because when you look at those pennies on the dollar, that they're giving you, look at the money in between that was taken before you got that penny that was on the dollar.
Oh, you meant a half a penny. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So and it's the God's honest truth. So it's more of he who controls, and this and this is my nugget I'll give everybody. He who controls the technology controls the music.
Uh-huh.
It's not he who creates the music controls the music any longer.
Never has been.
So this is why I've kind of made a shift of how can I do something different for music, with music, but also give back to the ones that's creating the music. So
Yeah.
we've also done something else, which is kind of controversial, tricky, whatever you want to call it. But quite frankly, we don't care because there's no law against it. So for those Bandcamp lovers,
Uh-huh.
we're now guaranteeing you $1.69 for the next 3 months off of everything you put on our quote-unquote free distribution side.
Brilliant
So
marketing.
what I mean by that is this. If you think about it, most of everybody, like I do, look, we all do our little bootlegs. Let's not sit up here and lie, because we all do, all right? We ain't supposed to, but God
But we have
knows our
to.
heart.
But
We
you
have
know,
to.
you have to. You have to.
So what we're telling everyone now is, especially with your own music, like especially like for Ike is a genius when it comes to like recreating beats. Like he
Oh my
Wait a minute, wait a
God.
minute.
so
Let's not say bootleg. Let's say side hustles. That sounds a
No,
lot better.
No,
this
it's
Thommy Davis Show.
no.
We're gonna say it
No,
straight out.
Ah,
No,
that's
no.
the side chick. That's the side chick. I'm
Because in
just
our
saying.
industry, look, listen, I'm thinking myself, but I don't care. In our industry, it used to be called white labels.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember
And I
those.
used to get them from that man
those.
right there, sit across the table.
I got a couple
So
of
they're
labels
valuable.
myself.
they're valuable.
Yeah.
So a lot of the time, you got to remember, we have to motivate each other. And if I can't motivate you all to do something different instead of the same, then I want to offer something different. So we're offering those that come over to the total indie side, not from the distribution side, but from the other side that we have, similar to another site that you all go to. Remember, when you go in and you put your music up, they give you a baseline price. They even sent out an email, if you're familiar. They sent out an email a couple days ago about that baseline price. Yeah, but they didn't tell you that you was guaranteed that money.
Okay.
What we're telling you is you're guaranteed that $1.69.
So for the people out there, so if you want to go to a site that's going to share your music or downloads or something like that, then they're going to go and you have to split it off. So every time you go somewhere else, you're taking a piece of yourself to split with someone else that's doing your service, like maybe Track Source or something like that, to push your music.
Yeah.
What Maurice and what Uniquely did is said, at every turn, he said, how can I do this better? So even with the artist, one day I got a call from him. He said, Tom, I need to say something, man. Now I know what y'all was going through with these artists.
I love y'all though, don't get it wrong, I love y'all, but we have to set some serious expectations in what we are doing for music. It's at a point now where you will be rewarded for what you do, but that comes with grind. That does not come with 2 releases and where's my Grammy nomination. It may, depends on where you are. Not saying that it's not possible, but I'm being realistic from this side.
But wait a minute, you're telling me that I can get on a track and do the beatbox and become a millionaire.
No.
That's what you're trying. Oh,
No.
damn it!
No.
That's my dream.
And let's get something else. Let's get something else out the way. Let's get something else out the way for those that are also interested in doing that. Some of us have great ears for knowing if you use Suno and AI to create those beats.
They're gonna police that.
Some of us got great. Listen to me. I just want to be honest, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. That's your snitch. That's your snitch. Shout out to Danny J. Lewis, who literally just made a post about that very thing, and he literally put the music up, and then he decided to take it down because his moral barometer would not allow him. Look, go to his page. He'll tell you, like, he took all those tracks down that he helped basically utilize AI with.
So wait a minute. So your thought is that it's not fair or not moral or not ethical.
I didn't say that. I never said those words. All I said was some of us just have great ears to hear whether or not
without AI.
Yeah.
Right.
To hear that you used AI to make the music. Because I heard your last 3 demos. How did you go from Jimmy in the basement to Black Coffee in 3 days?
So my question is, you think AI is not a good thing for the industry?
I'm going to say this. I think it has its purpose.
Okay.
Good, bad, or indifferent. I think it has its purpose. Now, when we're talking about mimicking voices, no, hell no, I don't like that.
I've heard some.
It sounds robotic.
But no, when I mean mimicking voices, like I heard one, it sounds just like Biggie. I swear.
Really? They can do that now?
Like, whoa. I was like, no, I don't like that. So when we talking about mimicking voices, the reason I say not mimic, and when I say mimicking voices, because that's a whole Ferris Bueller situation. I can call somebody and say, hey, look, let my son out of school, da-da-da-da-da-da. Forget music. I'm just saying in general, that I don't like.
Yeah.
Now, creating a beat or instrumental with a beat, let's put it in perspective. Half y'all using Slice and Loop Master too. So what's the difference? So let's call it what to call it. Call it spade what a spade is. Call it what it's going to call it. What's the difference?
Okay.
Okay. So what I'll say is, it's good and it's bad. How you use it is how you use it.
I have something that Jeffrey said real quick. Right? So Jeffrey C. Shout out to Jeffrey C. There are unwritten There are unwritten rules about the industry regarding bootlegs. If it's not the cost, if it's not cost effective to come to you after what they want, it does not make sense as far as business is concerned to go after someone who released bootlegs. Yeah, if the cost exceeds the return.
So basically, what he's saying is, if it's going to cost their legal team,
right,
more money to come after me than it is from what they're going to get from me, they're going to leave it alone. But let me be honest with you guys, and this is just me. And Ike's sitting right next to me. He can vouch for this. Every bootleg that I've done, I literally sent it to the artist, and I said, "Here, take a listen." Now, whether they hit that daggone button and download it,
it's on them.
It's on them.
I sent it to you.
But no, I'm going to be honest with you, respectfully. I would say it's 50-50.
Now, I do one thing.
Now,
I give them their publishing. I will not steal somebody's publishing.
Right. I'm not, first and foremost, like when the Raheem one I did recently, because I know Raheem, right? So I sent him, and he never sent the message back. I saw he listened to it, gave him a little love, and all right, cool, I'm good.
Did you give him the publishing?
Man, did I give him the publishing?
Yeah.
Every time I went down to his show, he had a show 3 weeks ago, right? Here you go, my man.
And see, this is ethics. This is what we're talking about when you in this market that's shrinking because of streaming and stuff like this. For Eddie to make any money, they might have to do bootlegs and mashes because it's contemporary, and the pop music doesn't deliver that. So we fill in a hole a sound that comes from the grassroots of music.
And the piggyback off what he said, I'll give you a prime example and preach to this one. Tribe Called Quest can speak on this.
I was going to say
they never made that Low End Theory album. They didn't make any money. $250,000 was the budget for the samples. So could you imagine us in house music sampling?
Wow.
Come on.
Yes, I was about to say that about hip hop. I know a lot of hip hop people started off in mixtapes, and they still do mixtapes because they get the fast money with mixtapes. As far as I would say, with the actual releases, the actual EPs and things of that sort, the record companies take so much from them that they barely get anything.
Right.
Well, we're talking you know,
But
what
that's hip-hop.
what happened. You're right. It
Yeah.
happened. Hip hop was the first one to get slammed. You know what I mean? About with it. You know what I mean? With Bismarck, and they just smashed his album.
What was the
Yeah.
other one?
Bismarck and then De La.
Yeah.
What was
They
the
went
other
after.
one in the house? Was it the Stardust track? The music sound. Was it that one that got hit too?
For house music,
For house music was that one, right?
Yeah,
Shaka
yeah.
Khan.
Shot, that's right. Yeah, they got hit big time with that one.
Yeah.
That was, but that actually panned out for them, because they wound up getting gigs off of the lawsuit, which was crazy. So
That's the same thing with a lot of the James Brown tracks. That man is dead and buried, and he still didn't get all the money
wow.
that he was supposed to get. Rick James, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, you know, we can go on and on.
But it's just the indie industry right now. So we are trying to do something different. Pasquale Records has always been a label that tried to emphasize being different and doing different things. I don't think I'm not going to be as bold to say it, but I don't think we sound like everyone else, but we do have similarities to other labels. Cause,
Your business.
Yeah, you know, so, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh my God, no, we're not, we don't sound like no other label. Come on now. So, you know, people have, I should say, inspirations, and sometimes those inspirations come through in your music. So,
Let me ask you this: have you ever done something for the business, I mean, that you know what's going to sell, but just not really what you want to personally do?
yes. So if you guys, and actually it just happened, and it was a Happy House song. So Jordi Cabrera, his festival march that I just released last month, that is not something that I probably would usually release. But the reason I did it is because it's a shift. It's a shift in the sound, it's a shift in the music, and it's a shift in the audience. So
Okay.
he has an audience that loves that sound. Let me introduce myself to that audience. Come on. And I'm glad I did it because it actually did extremely well. And it got licensed. It actually got licensed, picked up for one of those jazz house
Really?
Compilation.
Yeah. So it has its wins, its
Like
losses.
with BMG or something like that?
Yeah,
wasn't it?
it was a bit. So we have 4 right now. Overall, Pasquale Records has 4, and one Netflix, and 4 other ones for, what are those? The compilation.
Okay. Right.
Actually, one of them is Ike and Our track that we did together on Graydon Avenue, and that actually had a 30-second sample for British Commercial. So we got that one.
Lou.
So yeah, right. So let's talk about that one right there also. So yeah.
So I mean, this is very important. Now, what you're explaining that now, a lot of people don't know about sound exchange. So explain. Did you call me up and say, Tom, did you go get your sound exchange? I said, I never have.
I remember that conversation very well. The crazy part about being a label owner is the administrative work. Because it's like anything else. It's like trading. If you're a day trader,
right,
you don't want to miss that good trade because you might miss that good money. It's just the same thing. So you have to send people, things, and entities, third parties out to make sure that you're receiving all of your royalties. Prime example. Most people don't know that if your music is played overseas, it's their responsibility to report it to ASCAP. If they don't, oh well. So imagine this. Now you've got to open up an account, a SAMRO account, which is overseas, an ASCAP Europe account, which is overseas. Then you got to open up an ASCAP account here in the U.S. that covers pretty much everything. But if you want to register or get the pickup, so prime example, Metro FM, which is one of the largest South African radio stations, they play my music all the time. But if I would not have registered my label as SAMRO in South Africa, none of that would have got registered to ASCAP. I can go on ASCAP till today. It's no bad to ASCAP. It is what it is. But then you read that fine print at the very bottom. They're not obligated, so you can't be mad at them for not reporting it. So you gotta open up now an account there to make sure that your your
And that kind of goes with iTunes too. Every country has an iTunes.
Every country has an iTunes.
And they're not connected. They're separate by country and different rules for every country.
You know about Spotify Africa?
No.
Oh yeah. It's a Spotify, and it's Spotify Africa too.
Really?
Bro. Yeah.
That's it. All right. In the future, what are your future plans, bro?
Well, future plans for me right now, growing the label, expanding the label to kind of now venture into more of the, I should say, TV, movie side of things, more sync deals. So my purpose now is the music has to make an impact so that we can make an impact somewhere else.
Okay.
Pushing Total Indie to become a conglomerate for distribution along and compete with the other known owned distribution companies.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into the political, but yes, this is owned by us.
Well, let me ask you. Warner Brothers call you up and say, we give you $2 million for everything you got. Are you going to do it?
No, it's not enough.
And why not?
Well, because here's the thing. If they could call tomorrow and say, hey, I like what you guys are doing, we want to give you $2 million. That's shut up money. That's get out of my way money. Because they're already running things. We don't need you all around. And I'm saying I'm being very political about it, but I'm being very...
That's what's up. I said,
correct about the situation.
That's what this show about.
So it's that would be shut up and get out the way money. That's not what we're here for. We want to do something to make an impact. I sit up here and I hear all these complaints. So who's doing something about it differently? So let the artist see the money. Let the artist see the money. So that, and I know it's going to be... But
the artist will have a fit that, Warner Brothers wanted to pick me up and you didn't let me go to Warner Brothers?
But no, they wouldn't get upset because based on the contract, they didn't have ownership in the company to give them a percentage. So that's not true. Now, if you're talking about their masters, we wouldn't sell the masters. We would sell the company but keep the masters.
Smart.
That's business.
Smart. That's business.
Why would I sell the masters also? You would have to ask for it. And if you ask for it, that $2 million, that's not enough. If you want the masters also, that's absolutely not. I'd rather give the masters back to the artists before I give it to them.
Exactly. Now, we've heard horror stories over. I mean, from Temptations to whatever, that they sign these contracts.
Jim Jones just had that situation.
And they just give away everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, part is you need to learn it. You need to find out who else knows it, like legal representation. Not just your cousin as a lawyer. No, you got to get somebody that's in it. Somebody has with their history and their resume says, this is what I do.
So that's a great segue. You're doing a great job this evening, man. I swear to goodness, we got to get you one of those gold star things for... those are alley-oop. We got to give like one of those gold, something like that. So it's great it's a great segue because Total Indie is also offering legal.
Okay.
So we offer legal to all of the artists. So if you have contract questions,
that's not what's called
legal.
Double.
No.
You know what I mean?
That's
not the word.
We're here to help the artists. But we're not in conflict. We're the distribution company.
Okay.
Not the label.
Okay, all right, I got you. Okay.
We are the distribution company. We offer legal services to the artists. You got a contract that you're getting and you need legal services, there you go.
And you still take that contract and give it to somebody else before you sign it. So I mean, you're a cool guy and everything, but I don't trust you.
That's right.
You need to think like that. You need to think like it's no disrespect.
Because it's been done. So the whole reason for me doing this, and shout out to Pierre Reynolds, a business partner. Let me tell you something. The reason we did it because of what was done to us in the industry.
Yep.
Okay? I'm just being very blunt about it. So, and those individuals out there who smile in your face and, oh, yeah, reports are coming out here. I'll be honest, I changed the way I do my reporting. I don't do it every quarter anymore. Mm-hmm. Biannually. It's twice a year. And you and I have had this conversation. Yeah. It does not make sense to do quarterly reports anymore.
The numbers aren't strong
enough. The numbers aren't strong enough. They're not. So why would I waste my administrative time doing that? And please stop hitting me thinking you got $1,500 coming. Because it's not. It's not. Like, come on. You were better off getting 5 gigs and making that $1,500, and waiting for these royalties to come and make $1,500.
What we're talking about, folks, is when you're running a label, you have to show in business fashion. You can do it 4 times a year. You can do it twice a year. But in downloads, it's really not that kind of big numbers to do it. And every time we do it, the bigger your label is, the more you have to go back, even to the first record you did, just to say, I didn't make any money in this quarter on your record. Because they think, my cousin just bought it, so where's my money? It's like, you know what, but that record was 5 years old, but where's my money? And you got to explain all this kind of stuff. So as you go along and you keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and you have to go back every time and go through everything, contracts and all, see the split and see how all this kind of stuff, it can be tedious. So some people depend on a distributor, and then you got a guy like Marisa said, nah, I'm going to be the distributor.
Real quick, I want to.
Wait a minute, I want them to answer. I want them to answer. Why go and pick up that work to do it? Besides, because I hear you saying you want to help the artists, and that's a good thing. Because artists are misrepresented all over the place, and they walk and they sign stuff. And here, what guy trying to be honest?
I'm gonna be honest, because that's just what it is. So I said it earlier. I don't think everybody picked up on it. He who controls the tech controls the music. That's why I'm doing this.
Okay.
I want to control the technology around the music. We control the technology with making music. I want to control the technology that distributes the music. And I also want to be able to understand how it affects the artist and how the artist can be affected by it. I know how it affects me, but now how can I change that narrative? So now, think of it like this. It's not giving the artist empowerment to jump on the label's back. It's giving the artists the empowerment to look at themselves and say, are you really worth what you said you were now? When they log in there and they see, oh, wait a minute.
It can be an awakening when you see that for the first time. And every club you go to could be playing your song. So you think like, what? Where's my money? Where's my money? You know what? There's a big difference from download and clubs.
Because let me tell you all something. If you really want to get into real law, technically all these clubs that have entertainment licenses are supposed to report the music to the RIAA. The same way radio stations play the music.
They're supposed to.
And report. They're supposed to report it. They don't. And for years, if you guys remember, early 90s, they were talking about putting these devices in these clubs that have the entertainment licenses so that they can collect the music that was being played so they can go after the restaurant owners to get the money. But just imagine the restaurant. The restaurant was there to feed everybody. The DJs were supposed to be an added incentive while they dined, right? Okay. And if we're talking about a club, you're supposed to come in there, do your thing, eat, drink, dance, do whatever. The expense of paying a multi-billion-dollar record industry tithes, let's call it what it is.
That's what it is.
That's a
good word for it.
The tithes for the DJ that I gotta pay $500, $600, $700 or whatever that his fee is to come in and play. Let's look at the math of this. If I'm paying you $500, $600 to come and DJ, and then I'm gotta pay the royalties for that night that came up to $900 or $1,000. I'm hustling backwards. So why do I have a DJ in here? I just paid $1,800 for a DJ one night.
Exactly. But that's the way it's set up to go. People don't do it, but it is set up.
So that's why the days of the big clubs are going down. What you're seeing now is lounges and restaurants that are hiring DJs to create a vibe. And that's where my lane has been for the past 5 years.
So you still, I went to a restaurant that you was playing at. You still there?
No, Avenue Kitchen. No, I'm no longer there, but Avenue Kitchen is still there. I am now. And this is a great opportunity. Boy, I'm telling you, you gotta get one of them gold bells. Man. You get alley oops tonight, bro. You gotta get one of them ding ding ding.
Bro, I'm just asking questions that the people want to ask us after you leave.
You're a great I don't know. You're a great interviewer tonight, buddy. Let me start messing with you. But honestly. So we are doing, we're kicking off my new brunch that we're starting over at Union Hill in Canton.
Okay.
The old Blue Hill Tavern, if you guys remember, on Conklin Street.
You know the address?
It is. I'll give it to you in just a sec. And then we're doing, and that's going to be a Preakness brunch on May the 17th.
Okay.
Okay. And
What to
then
expect? What to expect?
You're going to expect something real sexy and something real different. I mean, this place is really laid out nice. What you're going to expect is some real nice, jazzy, deep house.
Okay.
And that's going to be played the entire night. Or I should say the entire brunch from 11 to 3. If you came to visit me at my previous spot, you'll know exactly what you're going to get here, but it's going to be an upscale.
Is it a one-off or is it a regular thing?
It's going to be a monthly event.
Okay.
And then as we're speaking on that, we are now going to be doing a all vinyl night.
Wow.
At this location also, but with a little twist.
With a little twist.
A little twist. You all have to bring the vinyl. So everybody gets
I like that,
everybody
yeah.
gets to bring 3 records, right? While you eating. So we get to know a little bit about you and that night and your
That's
day.
rocking.
And you come and play your vinyl, and one of us will be up there to play the record. No judgment. We play the song. That's it. You have your, you bring my daddy records. You go bring them records and play them records.
Hey.
So you're saying, so what you're saying is, if I bring a couple of my polka records, you know, and some of my Dutch shoes records, y'all can put it
That's
on.
what you want to play.
Okay,
no
okay.
judgment.
You get 3 records. You get 3 records.
It's
So
3 records,
So I
right?
get Dutch polka and I get my
It's a place.
Latino
So
stuff.
here's the thing: it's a place to come, play the music, and no judgment. And the location for this spot is 938 South Compton Street. It's right now in Canton. I think what's that? The Brewers Hill District, right there.
Yeah.
What's the date again?
Right here, 17th, Preakness brunch.
Okay.
Same day.
Free?
It's free, 100% free. Everybody likes that free 99. So there we go. So, and then that same day, that evening, I am blessed to play with my brother Biscuit at Flash DC.
In DC?
Man, Biscuit and myself will be spinning at Flash DC on the 17th also.
That's a long day, bro.
Hey, yeah. 1 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Flashes.
So,
and they go, man. They got energy.
Yo. And then on the 25th, my brother Herb and myself, Decompression, Passport Records, The Gathering. And we're going to do something different with The Gathering. Hey, it's free.
Yeah.
The Gathering is going to be free now. So you guys just come on, have a good time, dance, drink, food, brunch. It is what it is. So,
You know,
it's just
that's
vibe
where
and good
music
time.
is now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the day of clubs and paying money and going in
Eh.
and the numbers we need to pay for that club is gone.
Just come vibe. At this point, I just like creating vibes. That's what my music is about. That's even it. I created shirts that say proper vibes, and that's me. It's just about a proper vibe. You know what I mean? And
So, what does Pasqua mean? I was waiting to ask that. You know? No, it don't mean that. For real, it don't mean that.
Pasqua in Italian and in Spanish for those out there and those that are watching.
Okay.
For my
all right.
Latinos and sorry about
That was me. It was
That
was
electric shock.
For my Latinos and for my Italians out there, Mauricio. My name is Mauricio Pasqua. My last name is Easter. Pasqua is my last name. Easter.
Get out. Y'all heard it here. See, we dig deep on this show. We did. And you know what? Until you came on the show, it was the first time I heard how to say it.
Pasqua.
Like I like quantize. People say quantize, and I just wait.
First
to
of
put 'em
all,
on the
which
side.
area are they from when they say that? Let's be clear. Are they across Green Mountain or before?
Oh, that's shade. What did I say about Aquarians? They're shady. I'm just saying.
Oh.
No jokes, no shade. We listen, we don't judge.
This is the shady crew over here. So now you're a part of me. You know, hey. Now I don't have to do No Shade Tuesdays this week.
Put Ike on. Ike, what can you say?
No, Ike's been on since
I know.
he sat down. He just didn't say anything.
You're
Real
Marissa
quick, wait a
Close.
minute, hold up. Before you do that, I want to do a station tag, which is Power 410 Radio. Maurice has been talking for a very, very long time. But the thing is, well, not very long time, but I got to throw my shade out there. So Maurice has been talking for a while, but guess what? Nobody knows who you are and where they can get in touch with you, and how they can follow you, or is there a website where if they need help with their technology, things of that sort,
Don't call me for no technology.
You opened that up already.
you already opened it up.
You can call me for technology when it comes to music. I got you. But yes, you can reach me on all social medias at Mr. Eclectic. On
Can you
IG.
spell that just to make sure?
Mr. M.R. Eclectic ECLECTIC. And that's again Mr. Eclectic. Website www.pasqua.records, and that is PASQUA records.com. PasquaRecords.com. And that's all the
your music. Where's your music?
Yeah, your music.
You
Where
can
they
get
find
my
your
music on the website also. You can also get my music track source, Beatport, even though they don't want to show it. Beatport and iTunes.
See, I'm loving him. That's the shade. I'm just saying.
iTunes.
Where would you want them to go?
Absolutely. You can catch my music on Track Source, Bandcamp, or Beatport. Either one of those distribution companies. If you do stream the music, I only ask that you put it. If you have a pencil, you can hold the pencil up against the wall, and it'll repeat that song overnight while you sleep. Do that for me to help my streams go up.
Wait, how do you do that? Wait. Wait, I need a pencil. No. I can do that to my own music, right? I can get a pencil, put it against the wall, and it'll keep playing my song.
Sleep at night, and it'll just keep repeating.
I do have a couple more questions. If they want to hear you play, do you have a Twitch account? Do you have Mixcloud, SoundCloud?
Mixcloud, you can catch me at Mr. Eclectic. I'm being honest with you. I don't go on Twitch like I used to, like I did during the pandemic.
Here go a deep reason now. Wow.
It's no deep reason.
It's those Bezos brothers. It's those Bezos. Those that mafia.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's just life, man.
Okay,
I've got other
life.
responsibilities. Life be life. And it goes back to what I said. If you want to become a label owner and you have a plethora of artists that want to release their music on your label, unfortunately, it cuts into certain things, and you have to make a decision. The one thing I won't let it do is cut into family time.
Amen.
But if it's going on Twitch and doing a live set, and that means I have to cut that out because I have other things to do. I gotta mix a song or master a song.
Yeah.
Notice what I said. I didn't even talk about creating and producing my own stuff. Mm-hmm. So if I have to do all of that, when do I leave time to give you all, bless you all with the music? So I have to sacrifice something. So unfortunately, Twitch was one of those things that I had to sacrifice. And don't get me wrong, I love doing the Sunday backyards. I did. And I'm shouts out to her and I both been telling me, man, you need to bring that back. But it's finding that time because, that Sunday, it's Sunday.
So you did it in your backyard?
Yeah, that was my backyard. Everybody thought I was at a park. Just full disclosure, that's my backyard.
Mine too. But how'd you keep the mosquitoes from eating you up?
Easy. It's called Orkin. Pay them a month to come and spray your house.
They still was getting me.
Nah, I don't get messed up. I'm good.
All right.
See where I'm at.
You got another question.
From what I heard, you're supposed to put a dryer sheet in your pocket.
That didn't work either.
It didn't work either? No. What about mint?
I didn't try mint.
Yeah, mint usually takes
But I would have
away.
to cover myself and smell like an old man, like I'm wearing Bengay.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
Wait, there's a difference, though, because you were going, when you did your show, you were like that dust, like almost like 4 or 5 o'clock at night.
Right.
Oh, that's when they come.
That's why.
They ate me up alive.
Mine was 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, well, you got plenty. See, they're not going to eat you up.
No, I'm good.
Anybody can go back and watch this show, and you watch me fight them things. I'm smacking everything. All right.
Yes.
First of all, thanks for dropping in. You know, what I mean, you're always welcome to drop in, and most of our friends are. You know, what I mean, explain this, you and Mr. Eclectic. I want to know how Mr. Eclectic go, but I'm gonna wait till after that. What who thinks of that?
Well, just as I'm sitting here listening to Mo and yourself, I'm just sitting on the song like DJ spin, and the sponge that I am, I just absorb so much info from all of y'all, different things. Like I say, I'm always reaching out to Mo about the engineering side. Me and you, of course, we have Sync Mafia, so we're always collaborating on music, and I do what I do, but then Thommy comes in and Thommy adds the Thommy part of it, and it just takes whatever I've created to another level, and then we send it off to Spin, and Spin calls me, and Spin scolds me, but on top of that, he gives me what the info that he gives me, so that I can go back and make whatever I've created into what it needs to be. So I'm just so thankful to have guys like you in my presence to make me a better Casper Bernstein.
And see, it's really important what you're saying. I need some people out here listening. If you think you're a prince and you can produce, write it, play it, and all this kind of stuff, but the distributor, Maurice is an exception to the rule. You're never going to be a Maurice. You know what I mean?
And I know these get ready to say, and Thommy, it's really not the truth. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you guys.
What?
Like, I got a team. Like, I got a serious team.
That's my point, though. That's my point.
And my team keeps me grounded. And my team it consists of 4 people, right? And Tina Adore, who is my A&R for the label, and she's in Kenya. Okay. Right? And Dinga, who is my mentor and brother. Another fellow Aquarian. He and I are thick as thieves. From an engineering production aspect, we bounce stuff off each other on a regular basis. He has been a true blessing over the years, so that's needless to say. And then I have the wife, and my son. The last one, my son, he's that ear.
How old is he?
24. And I promise you, the EP that Ike and I did, the Aquarium, that we did a couple years ago. We had
both of y'all Aquariums.
Right. We had a bunch of tracks that were supposed to go in there. We did. My son picked those. My son picked all 4 of those tracks. And I let him listen to it. And I remember Ike calling me, this was during COVID, and Ike called me, hey, which one your son like?
Really?
Hey, which one he picked? I said, hey, he said, this is the one right here. So he picked that EP. And a few songs after that, he picked. So he's gotten older now, so I don't use him as much. But I literally just kind of get the feedback from the ears. Like, I've let people in. I'm usually not vulnerable. I haven't been like that before. But now I'm letting people in to kind of hear the music. Like, what do you feel when you hear this? Like, give me your feedback. And then,
that's important.
Then I'll go back and I'll change it, or I'll do something else. And I'm finding now with doing that, my peers are doing the same. So now I'm talking to producers and engineers that I would not have talked to before. And now we're bouncing sounds off of each other. And I'm learning more now. And I'm teaching a lot more now. So, yeah.
You're making my point. It's like, I meet a lot of people and they by themselves. So like, here's my song, here's my track. It's like, okay, fine. So then I have to be, this person is expecting to take over the world. Now, personally for Quantize, we are album-driven people. So if you come at me with one-hit records, I'm going to tell you straight out, this take off, I need at least 16 to 17 other records to really make this worth it in this download market.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We need an album. And then the second thing I do, go after all that kind of stuff, say, are you a
But
recording?
which is weird you said that, though, because the attention span, and we can, not to cut you off, but
You did.
it's funny. Because it's an important part, and I think we do need to touch on that.
Go ahead.
With the attention span of everybody now, are albums really still a thing? Because most people won't get past track 4 or even 3. Because albums...
I
It
beg to
depends on your
differ.
music. It all depends on your music.
But is that targeted to a demographic?
Yeah, it's to a buying demographic.
And that demographic and age group is what?
It's not an age group. It's people.
It's gotta be.
The people now are in a buying thing. You know, just like 2 months ago, we had 4 in the album things. You know what I mean? Guess
Right.
what? Them albums drove singles to every chart there was.
Right.
So, yes, it's traveling all other markets. Just going things where one record ain't gonna do. An album by artists. Y'all record did well. They well. Eclectic album.
No, I gotta disagree.
No, compared to anything else.
Well, it did well with individual songs, but as an album complete, no, it didn't.
And that was years ago because y'all.
Right.
That's before we was pushing albums
Right.
a lot.
Right.
But you guys came with the idea.
Exactly.
You was one of the first ones saying, "Hey, we got an album." Like, really?
Right. Yeah,
Really?
and that's true. That is true. But and what was crazy is now you watch the market, and it's a 2, 3, 4 track EP. Even myself, and I'm realizing, and this is a good nugget. I'm sharing a nice nugget with you guys right now.
Okay.
I'm realizing the industry, especially with producers, they're doing better by not releasing the instrumental.
I noticed
They're
that.
releasing
I noticed that.
and then releasing an entire instrumental. I just did it.
Yeah.
And releasing an instrumental album of that same like EP or album, whatever it came. So it's you release the original and the reprise,
Yeah, it's like Pete
Right.
Rock.
but you won't release the instrumental because the instrumental is a whole nother album.
Yeah.
Right.
And you drop the instrumental, and I noticed that as soon as I did that, now that was a game changer.
Mm-hmm.
So
That was a game changer.
But Pete Rock did it a couple of times and made a killing off of
Right.
the instrumental.
Right, just the instrumental. So
this is a great discussion, and I mean we went deep and we came back up. Was you finished? I didn't mean to cut you off. No.
Oh, wait
Because
a minute.
your important point is that you what you just said was I got friends that I talk to and help, and I feel the same way. I call you, I call Reese, I call everybody. Your network, if you're out there trying to do it, you need to give it an attitude, be able to take
Jermaine just said something.
be able
Did
to
you
take
wanna-
criticism.
Jermaine.
Right.
Be able to go back to the board, like, you know what, don't take this as my baby. I want
Now
to
he
change
said
it.
hi.
Right,
Laugh
right.
out loud.
People's
He said something earlier,
hello?
but I can't see it. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm talking to him. Oh, y'all can hear?
Yeah, we can hear
Oh,
you.
my bad.
All these things are important
That's
because the more you learn, like, you know what,
That's you. That's you.
this one always does it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what did that brother Jermaine say? What did he say?
He was asking a question. I'm sorry.
Jermaine was on here.
Yeah, he's on here now. Oh, he used to be the drum player at my church.
Ah, that's
All
right.
right. Pastor Jermaine. That's what I have to call him out.
I lost it.
What,
I lost it.
What was the question?
I don't remember. It kept scrolling.
Yeah.
If you still have that question, Jermaine, please post it again. Thanks.
You were doing all that talking. You don't remember the question.
No, because you my bag.
No.
Listen.
Everybody know me and
Sidebar,
Tracy love each
sidebar.
other.
I'm good for a sidebar. Look
Yeah.
ahead.
So I don't want to hold you on any advice. I like to live. Actually, some basic question.
Mhm.
Your favorite house record of all? What is your favorite house record?
My favorite house track of all time is probably going to be something that most people not. It was actually "Cosmic Girl" by Jamiroquai.
That's a great song.
It's actually one of my
Your favorite out of all the house records.
and there's a connection there. He's literally from the next town from where I was born in London.
Oh yeah,
So it's literally
Jamiroquai or the vocalist? Which one?
vocalist.
Because people think this is the same
Jamiroquai.
person.
No, because Jamiroquai is the group, by the
Right,
way.
right.
Yeah.
Is the group. The drummer recently, was it the drummer or the guitarist that just passed away? was it the drummer that just passed away from the
Like,
I'm not sure.
Because it was one.
no, Torture Soul lost their drummer.
It was a Torture. I'm sorry.
He was the lead.
That's
Right.
yeah. But it's literally Jamiroquai's Cosmic Girl. Now, but this song is what introduced me into the soulful, deep Afro aspect of house. This song is what turned me into the soulful side of house, and it was "Change for Me" by Eero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was before we knew about is Eric Roberson. He went by Eero.
Right.
And he was working with Osalunde.
Mm-hmm.
And this is when Osalunde was working a lot with Music Soul Child and writing a lot of his production and music.
Okay.
So, but Eero, and the first person I heard play it, crazy, true story. First person I heard play it, because I was playing a lot of house, but it was more a lot of, how can I say, tropical house dance, real energetic house music.
It was a period for that. It was really big.
It was a period for that.
Right.
But I remember going to, what was that darn place that Chris played at?
Chris.
Sky Lounge. Was it not Sky? Was it Sky?
Chris
Sky Lounge?
Brooks or Chris Burns?
No,
Charisma.
Charisma.
I'm
okay.
sorry.
Oh, that was Skyloft.
Kill me. Yeah, Skyloft.
Yeah.
Skyloft.
Yeah, it was.
And I remember hearing him.
No,
play
you talking about in Fells Point? He had that
Fells
place,
Point,
the
up in
second
alley,
floor.
the second floor.
Yeah, that was Skyloft.
Skyloft.
That
You
was
had to go up
Skyloft?
the steps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you had to
I've
go
been
up the
there.
steps.
Right.
Had a real cool dance floor. Yeah.
And I remember hearing him play that, and looked. I said, "What is that?" And this was around the time I was just meeting Charisma.
Uh-huh.
I was just getting shouts out to Keith. Keith kind of introduced me to Charisma, and we just connected. And at this time, this was Cohesive, so he allowed me to be a part of Cohesive for a short minute.
Mm-hmm.
So where I kind of learned drum patterns. That was Charisma that taught me that.
Charisma is dope with the pattern.
That's where I learned, and this was at that time. God knows I don't know anywhere near what he does now, and this was at that time, and he taught me drum patterns. But yeah.
What? Tracy's giving me that side eye.
Yeah. No, I'm saying it's 9:30.
It's 9:30.
Yeah, because
man.
we don't want to,
We had one guest.
business.
We haven't done this. One guest, a whole show.
That's why I told you we ain't need anybody else.
Trust me.
Oh, so you're good.
And I appreciate.
Continue. I want to make sure.
Yeah, I appreciate you guys having me. I appreciate Ike stopping by because that's family. That's my brother right there.
Now, if you want to stay longer, you can. I just want to respect your time.
No, I'm
What about me? What?
But I appreciate you guys having me. Please visit my website, Total Indie, as an independent distributor. We are looking for all labels. Doesn't matter what genre. Come and be a part of something that's different. Pasqua Records, again, come and be a part of something that's different. You're going to get more than just releasing your music. You're going to get a whole family and the nurturing of your track that you're supposed to get.
And the
education, because I'm definitely going to educate you as much as possible. And please, if I leave with anything, I'm going to leave you with this. Please, if you're thinking about being a producer and artist, please get an ASCAP. If you're listening from abroad, please get a SAMRO or BMI or whatever.
Right.
Stop thinking that you're going to release this music and nothing's going to happen. You may very well wind up getting a sync deal.
Yeah, or don't put it on a tape and mail it to yourself.
Exactly.
That does not work.
Doesn't work. And for the love of God, please utilize your copyright rights. Own your masters. Stop playing games.
That's one thing that I heard. There was a story about Prince and Nas. Nas wanted to work with Prince, and Prince told him no until you own your masters.
Own your masters.
And he walked away just like that. And I was like, that's a jewel right there.
Own your music, and don't be afraid to ask questions. And
definitely.
Don't be afraid. I don't mind doing this stuff, but at the end of the day, I want to empower you to be empowering yourselves. Because I did it, and it was a struggle. And my brother Jermaine is on the call right now, and he can tell you. He watched me go through it. And we did something together also. But life always has, it'll present you opportunities and chances. And I had an opportunity and a chance, and I was surrounded by people who pushed me to go do it. Didn't hold me back. He didn't say, no, I don't want you to go do this because it was selfish or anything. He was there and supportive, just like Ike, just like everybody else. And as you see, full circle, I released on Quantize. Most people will look at Pasquale Records as a competitor to Quantize. You're in the same city, yada, yada.
What?
No.
And
That's how you work in unison.
And that's how you work in unison. And I say that on purpose because those that are listening know exactly what I'm talking about. It's no what, it's the truth.
Yeah,
so
part of the team.
It's what it is. So we are a team, and anything that I can do to help and be an opportunity for you guys, I'm going to do it. So it is what it is. I know at the end of the day, we're all in this to chasing the buck, chasing the emotion, chasing the feeling, chasing the high, if you want to talk about it, chasing the high of the music.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep chasing the high of music and keep creating. And those that want to follow, I empower you to follow. Those that don't, I wish you well. So that's that.
Bottom line. Hey, thank you again.
Yes.
Ike, thank you for coming in here. And you too, Shady McGrady. And, if you listen to the show, this is the whole purpose. The whole purpose is to actually have a real talk conversation with some people that you might know about or you're not. Or now you're going to spark your interest. Now look up Mr. Eclectic. Look up Pasquale. Look up Casper or Ghost or Ike Bernstein. Because you know what? We only get better when we support each other. You know what I mean?
Well,
and nowadays it's easy to do. I mean, 99 cents or $1.99. It's like,
I get it.
hey.
We're all in the situation. We don't want to get into all the other stuff. I pray for those that are going through the situation right now without losing a job or whatever the case may be. I pray for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I know 99 cents and $1.49 probably is hard for you because that's the difference between food on the table and you enjoying some music. And I think I would rather you put food on the table. So do the best that you can with what you have. And I just pray for everybody in this time and this season right now. So
we're going to get through it.
Yep, that's it.
Just keep your head up and write your congressmen and your legislators and stuff like that. Let them know that they supposed to be doing what you put them in their jobs for a purpose, and they're supposed to do your purpose. If you stay silent, that means you stay silent. Make sure that you let them know what you want them to do because they want to listen. They want to listen to you.
No, they're gonna have to because they sitting in there and signing off stuff and not doing anything. The joke is over. Forget going after Trump. Go after the people that's representing you in Congress.
But see, that's another thing that a lot of people. And after that, I'm gonna not say anything.
Sure, you're right.
But a lot of people don't realize a lot of those executive orders that he put out there are exactly that. They are ideas. So this is how government works, just in case you forgot in 9th grade. It goes from whoever the executive is to Congress. Congress owns the purse. They own the purse. They are the ones that give out the money. So it goes from them to Congress to the Senate. And then after that, it goes back to the executive branch. And that's the only way it becomes a law. And that's the only way they can take anything from you. If you're still paying your federal taxes, you need to call your congressman, call your lawmakers and let them know this is wrong. They're supposed to take your federal money and put it in the places that they are trying to take away from you. So if you're taking these things away from you, why are you paying your federal taxes?
Click. That's my dark loading it up, Tracy.
But I'm gonna shut down. I'm gonna shut down on that. But
she's not lying though.
You did make a point as far as having a team is concerned. A lot of people say there's no I in team. There is an I in team, and that's in between the A and that's negative space. And if you work in a negative space, guess what? You get nothing. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So when you work as a team, make sure that you truly work as a team and make sure that your team is the best team for you at this point. And please know that your team is going to evolve. Some people are going to drop off. Sometimes you want to drop off. So just like Mr. Eclectic said, continue to learn. You should learn something every day.
Listen, for them, each one of those executive orders, the Congress and the Senate have to lay down and not do nothing. So stop looking at him and look at them because he can't do it if they don't sign off of it. And that's plain and simple. You got a lot of people scared. Yeah, but you know what? We're not scared enough. Because when you're scared enough, it's when you stop. You don't lay there.
You have to come together. And you have to collaborate.
No,
you have to come
stop saying
together.
it's okay.
You have to stand
it's
together.
Not okay.
It's not okay. Stand together. Say it's not okay, and not just one person saying it's okay, because that one person's voice is going to get lost. We need to come together and say together, it is not okay.
Thank you for listening. All views and opinions expressed on the show are not them on Power 14 Radio or any of the sponsors. And thank y'all for listening. It's Maurice Eclectic, another legendary show, man. We got people listening from everywhere, man, and play it back, man. And so you just add another jewel to the show.
But wait a minute, if you do want to be a sponsor, contact us at Power 410 Radio, or you can hit me, Tracy Stevens, TRACYSTEVENS, on Facebook, or Thomas Davis, DJ Thommy Davis.
Don't do it. Hit her. Because, like Maurice said, my whole life is nothing but studios and records and concerts like this. I'm not going to see it and you're going to get mad. You know what? I'm not. So, and that being said, see us. We'll be back next week. Maurice, thank you again, man. Man, that was awesome, man. That was awesome. There's nuggets after nuggets after nuggets of information. I knew it was going to be that. It's like, yo. So it's worth rescheduling to get you in here.
Appreciate y'all.
If you're out there, stay strong, stay positive, and we see you next Monday.
Okay, thank you for listening to the Thommy Davis Show, only on Power 410 Radio. You can catch us on the web, you can catch us in the app. You should actually download the app because we sound so much better in stereo.